So you need a little break, huh? Boy, say you need a little space, yeah. Boy, is it 'cause you can't be faithful? Boy, hope she's cool, unlike you. You ain't ready for a girlfriend, no. 'Cause you think I stole your weekends, no. So you make up shitty reasons for want it out. See, I'm not even mad, boy, but I'm confused. Shouldn't you be keeping me at 10 when you're 2? I can't help but feel sympathetic, I do. You think you're bad, boy, but I feel bad for you. Think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, but I feel bad for you. I'm not even mad, I'm not even mad, I'm not mad, I just feel bad for you. I was pretty when I met ya, now I'm prettier than ever, took a second to forget you, boy, only one. If you wanted to hurt me, well, you failed big time, 'cause I knew you would panic and run. I won't chase you, baby, I'm too good without. If you think that I'm crying, you're wrong. I'm not even mad, boy, but I'm confused. Shouldn't you be keeping me at 10 when you're 2? I can't help but feel sympathetic, I do. You think you're bad, boy, but I feel bad for you. Think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, but I feel bad for you. I'm not even mad, I'm not even mad, I'm not mad, I just feel bad for you. If you wanted to hurt me, well, you failed big time, 'cause I knew you would panic and run. I won't chase you, baby, I'm too good without. If you think that I'm crying, you're wrong. Think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, but I feel bad for you. I'm not even mad, I'm not even mad, I'm not mad, I just feel bad for you. Think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, but I feel bad for you. I'm not even mad, I'm not even mad, I'm not mad, I just feel bad for you. Think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, boy, think you're bad, but I feel bad for you. I'm not even mad, I'm not even mad, I'm not mad, I just feel bad for you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another live stream. Today we have something totally different from the last live streams. I've actually turned off all the music. I've got a whole bunch of super fun little transitions and things ready to go. We're going to change things up a little bit. We're going to have some Q&A at the end. Before that happens, we're going to go over some war stories, which is basically some stories from people's work during the week or previously, and there will be a poll on that you can vote on, and the winner will get a discount code off some merch, as well as or they can choose to have a Discord boost. And then there's also going to be a CyberSec news section after that, some life lessons. I'm going to teach you some super useful stuff to use in your everyday life, and then finally the Q&A round where I'll answer your questions coming in. So if you do have some questions, save them up for the end, but by all means paste them in the chat, and the mods will collect those and I'll get to answering them later. Before we get too far into this one, I just want to shout out to my epic merch. We'll get this stuff out of the way at the beginning because I know none of you like it. We've got the Get Lube sticker, which is fantastic. We have the I found DC case thingy here. I found DC using OSINT and all I got was this lousy pouch. I mean, this thing is sick. So if you want that, get it. And yeah, that's pretty much the merch. I've got this sick desk mat now, courtesy of Gareth or Gaz or GCC or the dad bod god himself, who's sitting just outside. I'll get him in later. And yeah, let's get this show on the road. I'm going to say hello to a couple of people who are in here. I can see Raul, which is great to see you in here again. Jopa, what's up? Maui, you're spamming all sorts of questions, which is great. Liam Gornell, what up? And who else we got? We got a guy called RDZ. M8N, who has deleted his message. So I'm curious what you wanted to say that it got deleted, but whatevs. And Beam is back. What's up, Beam? Yeah, welcome. So things that have happened this week. I got married, so that happened. Now I have 2 rings. Look at me go. And I don't know if you saw the video or not, but I put a video up of some stuff up there, which is good. And yeah, apart from that, I've been on holiday and just sort of chilling out and living my best life, which has been always fun. And yeah, anyway, let's get into the war stories. So I have so much stuff to get through in this live stream. So this one might be a bit of a long haul, but I'm sure you guys are in here for the good stuff. So let's get on to war stories. Let's see if my transitions work. Damn. Are you guys in the mood? Is that hitting you? Is that hitting the good spot? Is that what you like? Is that... Okay, so the war story, how it works is basically you do exclamation vote space story 1 or story 2. I'm going to read through 2 stories. One of them is crazy long. So this is going to take me a good 10 minutes to get through. So go and grab a drink, grab a packet of chips or something, get some Red Bull, because this is a hectic story, but it is a very good story. Followed by a second story, which is also fantastic. And you guys get to vote on it. So you guys get to vote on who wins the story challenge. So let's do it. Oscar Gear wrote, let's talk about one of the worst seam experiences I think anyone has had. In the early days, this seam was quite solid. Top right quadrant magic. This was the era where cloud was still treated with skepticism, but as a whole, the industry was gradually moving there with more and more momentum. By this time, our seam product had been developed, bought by a new household name vendor, and bought again by a bigger giant. Things were on the up with our partnership. We were invited to talk at a large conference in the US. We've expanded services to 3 of the largest government accounts in my state. And we finally won a non-government client in a large resources company with 5 new clients lined up after that. Things were on the up and up. So by the way, if you want to vote, you can vote at any time from now. It's exclamation vote space story 1. This is story 1. So you just chuck it in the chat and the bot will pick it up. All right. To the next part of this story. To support the expansion, we were planning to upgrade to the larger seam appliance with attached storage. We did an assessment of several different seam products, but we stuck with our original vendor due to their promising Office 365 integration earlier than the other. A big deal for our clients. But unfortunately, this was basically the start of almost 5 years of troubles. So there's some history here. When the new devices arrived, they just straight up wouldn't recognize the storage that was attached to them. We had bought large arrays of spinning disk to support the massive amounts of data we were ingesting daily, but the seam platforms wouldn't recognize that they existed. Support tried hard, all praise to them, but they couldn't work out the issue. Neither could engineering. It took about 4 months of trying new things before one of our own engineers just cracked the shits and started going through the product's install scripts one by one until finding the issue that was preventing the storage from being mounted. The serial of the RAID controller that had been installed wasn't on an approved whitelist, which was supposed to be configured before shipping. So big oops there. After we got our install working from being mounted, the serial of RAID controller that had been installed. I already read that. Sorry, I missed that. After we got our install working properly, it took another month or 2 to sort out our redundancy situation before we thought we were in an okay place to move forward. I'm not even halfway through the story. So like I said, buckle up. But as I said, this was merely the start. Around this time, the seam and associated security products from this vendor had again been spun out into its own company. We theorized this occurred after they'd ripped everything useful out of these seam products and taken all the good engineers to other products, because really everything was going downhill. It ended up taking an extra year past the promised date to merely get Office 365 integrated with the seam. The vendor wasn't that keen on setting up webhook support, so essentially anytime our clients came to us with new cloud product, we had to say, haha, yeah, you're going to have to set up an extra on-prem infrastructure so that we can actually get those logs. Not a great result. Throughout this period, there would regularly be problems with getting analytical models, so rules, correlation, whatever you call it, working reliably in some instances. The biggest problem was that there was only one user. What? The biggest problem was the only one user could be working in the policy at a time. I thought I'd read that wrong, but that's actually how it is. That is ridiculous. So no problem, that makes sense. But no, this product prevented 2 users from working on 2 different rules at the same time. We had to book policy windows to do business as usual modification and tuning of different rules. Any other issue that we had with rules not working properly was met with advice, roll out the policy twice. I don't know if that's a fix or a band-aid, but okay. This was the turn it on and off again solution. Yeah. This is terrible. This is going downhill quickly. Any issue, doesn't matter what it was, roll out the policy twice. And surprisingly, about 80% of the time, this actually worked. Interesting. Many years later, again, diving into the back-end code of the product and of the same product and monitoring processes on the correlation of data indexing engines, did we work out that this was because sometimes the policy got corrupted mid-application and the only solution was to brute force keep shoving the policy until it worked. Oh, man. man, oh man. This is out of control. All right, next. The Flash EOL was on the horizon. Everyone has obviously had many years' notice. This team basically only used Flash, and it was obviously one of the mega sore points for years. HTML was on the horizon with version +1, along with new sharding and event bus capabilities to make it easier to scale. Sounds great. Obviously, being in Australia, data speeds aren't fantastic, no kidding. So anything to make it more efficient to collect events from customers is a big win for us. A problem we had was that the different system components connected to each other over SSH to transfer data. We encapsulated these SSH connections in VPN tunnels. Yes, seems redundant, but it was a requirement of an early government client, and so it got baked into everything else. Yeah, standard. And every time the SSH connection wobbled for any reason, client firewall outage, lots and lots of reasons, it would just not transmit data. This is out of control. This story is, I think I'm not even close to halfway. I'm about 1/3. Sometimes the connection would reestablish itself, but most of the time we would have to go into the back end and poke it manually to get it to reconnect. We were very keen to move to a system that would be far more reliable than this SSH mess that we currently had to maintain. V+1 was upgraded to a month-long process with massive changes. What was promised as seamlessly really began a slow, gradual decline to us being seamless. This is a bad result. As part of the upgrade, we noticed, was it even an upgrade? I don't think it was. We noticed that there was, for some godforsaken reason, a 50 gigabyte string table which had collected every unique string that the SIEM had ever seen since we stood up the service. Okay. For a while, we had been noticing some performance degradation, and I think the vendor support jumped on this as a potential solution. Essentially, what the product was doing every time you ran a search was passing this string table for the data that you were looking for quickly. I'm going to skip over a large percentage of this because while the story is great, I want to get to the nitty gritty. Okay, there's about 3 paragraphs of this guy talking about how horrible the SIEM is. I'll get to the next bit. We watched with some form of horrified amusement as the entire directory structure of the event collector was flattened into the root directory, then started disappearing. Interestingly, the SSH connection remained even after we saw daemon being deleted. Not much you can do about that except laugh or cry. And just reinstalled it from the disk. I do feel bad for the support engineer, as one of the most reliable people we worked with. Everyone makes a really stupid mistake once, and it's just really unfortunate that it happened in this situation. At all other times, this engineer was fantastic. We even offered him a job at one point. Unfortunately, he was stuck in Australia on a visa with the vendor. This guy helped us on weird, esoteric issues over a mobile phone while on holiday with his family in rural India. Absolutely dedicated. Very dedicated. I think anyone locally would have just hung up. And I was legitimately sad when we found he had been moved off to the senior support team. Sad, but probably good for him, I reckon. That's funny as. Oh, Andrew's here. What's up? But that issue was sorted out quickly, and not long after the move incident, the vendor hotfixed the bookmarking problems. Hooray! Separately, for months, we were having issues where searches were coming up with weird data, which caused us to look into the integrity of the database. Sometimes we would run searches where the SIEM would say it had found 20 events, but ended up displaying none of them. That's a broken SIEM. Or in one widget, show us the IPs related with that event, but in other widgets made us show the hostname on those events, it would be blank. So that's bad as well, because you can't do anything with that. The database this SIEM used was SQL-like, but no, not SQL-Lite. This was SQL-like, L-I-K-E. I think you couldn't even run standard queries on it. It had its own syntax and structure, some completely proprietary bullshit database, which would cause us untold grief for the next few years until we transitioned to another SIEM product. Of course, it had likely been causing problems for years, but I think after the V+1 upgrade and us tripling the data we were putting into the system caused those problems to become big problems much quicker. All right, we're getting onto the good stuff here. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of the story, and we're almost through it. So stick on in. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. All right. Looking into why this was occurring, we came to realize that instead of being sensible and running a single search and extrapolating that data out into all different widgets we were displaying, it would run a different search for every single widget on the screen. For example, if you had two widgets on the screen to see IP source and host, instead of just grabbing data from select where IP source is, whatever, and only displaying each data point in each widget, it would do select IP source where IP source 127.0.0.1, then select host where IP source 127.0.0.1. Why did it work like that? That's strange. Then it would do select where IP source 127.0.0.1 anyway to be able to display the logs in a grid outside of the widgets. So why does this mean that only some widgets would populate? Well, of course, the sharded searching was the one to blame here. In order to reduce load, the SIEM offloaded some searches to other shards, including the redundant SIEMs. Okay, what was this product? I'm so curious. I reckon I know what it was, actually. I could guess. Turns out, despite the happy green light and the message redundancy okay, redundancy was not okay. In fact, I think only about 30% of logs were getting synced to the redundant SIEMs. That redundancy okay message purely meant that the SIEM could ping the redundant, not that it was syncing and, being redundant. Okay. Separately, when we brought up the stupid queries the SIEM was doing, we were told that we shouldn't be running searches with so many widgets. I mean, why would you want to have the past logs? Have a widget showing you top IP addresses, top event types, top host, top username, etc., all on one page. Foolish. Okay. Instead, their recommendation, if we wanted to do some better data analysis, was to use a proper data analysis tool like Excel. That warrants this. Excel. Unbelievable. I can show the text on screen, but it's I had a look at it before the stream and it's just too small. I'd have to blow it up and then it'd be impossible to read this enormous story. Anyway, getting this redundancy sorted out properly took another 3 or 4 months, after which problems just kept piling up. Sometimes we felt like we were acting like the vendor's QA. Numerous hotfixes were being created that were stacked with support tickets that we'd raised, and these being rolled up into minor version updates. Slowly, because that was the only speed that this seam now operated at, more and more major issues were occurring. Corrupt tables requiring full data partition rebuilds that would require us to drop front-end services. What the hell? For 5 to 8 hours. Holy crap. Passing issues with vendor-managed passes that would only cause the event collector to lock up and just cease passing. Depreciation of more and more features, etc. This is oh my god. Was this Trend Micro? I wonder if this is the Trend Micro seam because it sounds like it. I'm curious. Anyway, we spent 9 months moving our analytic models over to a format more conducive to operating as an MSSP, utilizing component building blocks that you could save. This meant if we had to change the core logic to a model that was deployed to all of our customers, we could change this core logic in one place and then it would roll out to all customers. Unfortunately, little did we know this feature was basically used by no one on the planet. Okay? By the time we had converted all of our thousands of customer seam rules and models to this new format, did we start to see serious problems. And because we were basically the only people utilizing this building block feature, we essentially received no support for it. Fantastic. This was one of the times where fixing this feature probably wouldn't benefit the rest of the customer base. So the vendor was just like, yeah, nah, sorry. Essentially what happened is that values programmed into these building blocks, oh yeah, by the way, editing rules and models was basically all done by GUI. This is just fire after fire. They obviously didn't have a method where we could manage it via code, would just disappear. They were still very clearly referenced, giving us object instead of the string we wanted. And then, and when we did dive into the backend to look at the code, you could see the value there, but the reference that told Flash to display the certain block of code as a certain username just randomly vanished. Why? How? We never bothered to find out. In testing, these problems never occurred, but once deployed to scale, it became a real problem. 9 months, 8 people, about 15 hours per week. That's something like 20,000 man hours gone. Not completely wasted as we rebuilt our documentation process, playbooks, etc. as well, but we still had to go back and essentially undo all of the work we did in the seam to get it functional again. Okay, so you basically ripped it apart and started from scratch. Fortunately, the rules and models still worked, lucky. Just if you looked at it, you had no idea if any of the filters included unless you went into the back end and looked at the code. Not at all useful. It took about 6 months to undo a lot of the work we had done, and several people found work elsewhere because of it. No kidding. While this was ongoing, the corruption issues were getting worse. Okay, so the drama's not over yet. I mean, they've sort of fixed a broken product and then, yeah. Connection issues were getting worse. It got to the point where we were essentially having 5 to 10 hour outage every week due to the database needing some kind of rebuild. Good thing we are redundant, right? Right? Enough was enough. We set up a project to move off that seam after many years of this bullshit. We fortunately transitioned off that seam in about 12 months. Okay, that's not too bad. Doing so, we were pushed to do a like-for-like transition, ugly, even if we really didn't want to keep the technical debt we created in the old platform. Yeah. So the team exhausted themselves to transition all of our clients, thousands of custom analytical models, custom passes created for unique log sources, and several petabytes of data in only 12 months. Jesus. I feel like this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, mainly because if I ever had to have to do a seam transitional project, I'm going to demand an ungodly amount of money. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had fixed time and fixed resources to get this project done. I wonder what means we missed. Yeah, I wonder. So that's the first story, and that is a hectic story. I don't see any votes yet. So please do get your votes in for story 1 if you liked story 1. We're going to take a quick break because I need to have some water after reading through that mammoth story. So What do you think about that story? Do you reckon the old seam support slash absolute mess that this guy had to go through was pretty hectic or not? Let me know. All right. So the command is !vote space story 1. If anyone wants to do it. All right. The next story is from 0xMK, and they wrote, so I worked for a credit union for a short time while someone was on leave and we were hit with ransomware. None of the core banking system was affected, thankfully. Just the Windows file shares that the departments had all their working documents on. We isolated the machine with ransomware process running on it, pulled it off the network and restored files from the latest backup. After the restore was complete, I was tasked with coming up with a solution. I presented the business case for running AppLocker on the VDI servers and on the branch endpoints, and implemented monitoring rules on the file servers to fire off an alert if suspicious files are created. That's a good setup. There was much deliberation, and the result was no, we're not going to implement that. We should be right now. I implemented monitoring rules that sent alerts out if new files were created with known ransomware file extensions. The very next day, I'm about to go to lunch when I get tapped on the shoulder by one of the customer service reps who said they opened an email from, what was that? Thanks for the thing. Who said they opened an email from Australia Post and they thought it might be fake. Then the alert started rolling into the inbox. And when we got to work restoring files from backups, no one in the IT department got to lunch until about knockoff time. And I got the go ahead to implement AppLocker. So that's a good story. Basically, he had a solution to fix a problem, and that fix would have fixed the problem. The very next day, someone clicked on phishing, and they ended up implementing the fix in the end. So let's see some votes on here. Has anyone actually voted? I can see some votes in the chat, but it doesn't look like it's going. Doesn't look like it's working. No deal. Okay. That's okay. I guess the bot doesn't work. That's okay. But anyway, that's basically the two stories. It looks like the vote has been for story number 1. I don't know how it hasn't synced through, but that's perfectly okay because that first story was absolutely epic. So Oscar, you are the winner of that one, and yeah, it should be. Oh, actually, we got a couple of votes for story 2. Is it a tie? Anyway, I'll message these guys later and see what's going on. Cheers, Christian Pop, for the $9.99 Romanian lira or whatever it's called. I appreciate that. And before we get on to CyberSec news, I'm going to drop some merch advertisement real quick. I've been wanting to use this audio all night. Grab the Get Lube sticker. I think it's like $6 or something. It's probably the best merch you'll find on the internet, on YouTube, in the world, possibly. It's this fantastic sticker. It looks like this. It's huge. It can fit on your DC CyberSec pencil case thing if you really want. Do whatever you like with it. Stick it on your car. It doesn't really matter. Let's get on to the CyberSec news. How are we doing for time, by the way? Oh, we're at about half an hour. So that's roughly where I thought we would be at this time. So we'll have plenty of time for questions at the end, which is good. All right, let's get on to the CyberSec news. All right. Super amazing transition there. We have CyberSec news at the top. We have the news anchor sound. Of course, the news is going to be about Log4j. I mean, obviously, what else could I talk about this week? It's I don't know if you've been under a rock. I mean, I tried to escape the internet for a week, but I couldn't because literally as I went on leave, Log4j happened. I didn't have anything to do at work, which was great. Someone else had to handle all this stuff for me. But yeah, there's been lots of news. So I'm just gonna read out my favorite news article, and then I'll take some questions in the chat about Log4j briefly. I know it's been blitzed to hell, but yeah, hi Jib. I'll reply to you so you stop spamming the chat. All right, bleeping computer. If anyone wants to go to this link, the link is here. I'll chuck it in the chat a bit later on. All right. So this happened just as I went on leave. So this was the weekend I went on leave. All set for the weekend. Not so fast. Yesterday, bleeping computer summed up all the Log4j and logback CVEs known thus far. This has been covered to death, but I'm going to quickly read through some of the good stuff. So ever since the critical Log4j zero-day saga started last week, security experts have time and time again recommended version 2.16 as the safest release to be on. That changes today with version 2.17.0 out that fixes a seemingly minor but high severity denial of service vulnerability that affects Log4j 2.16. Let's skip down. There was a whole thing about VX Underground, which if you guys don't follow them on Twitter, I would highly recommend it. They release some great stuff. So yeah, let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. Tractor's CV 2021-45105 and scored high 7.5 on the CVSS scale. The DOS flaw exists as Log4j 2.16 does not always protect from infinite recursion in lookup evaluation. So this is the extended bit of the original Log4j vulnerability. If anyone hasn't smashed like who's watching this already, I can see there's like 20 something people in here. Smash like. It helps the channel probably, I think. I don't know, with the whole disabled like thing, doesn't matter. Apache Log4j versions 2.0, Alpha 1 through 2.16.0 did not protect from uncontrolled recursion from self-referential lookups, states the version release note seen by Bleeping Computer. Further on, the version expected to reach the largest Java package repository. Although Apache has officially released details on the upcoming 2.17.0 release so far, GitHub commits seen by Bleeping Computer indicate a release 2.12.3 might also be on its way for those on the 2.12x branch versions. So, yeah, I mean, there was so many great memes about this. If you guys don't follow Hack Luke on Twitter, he was smashing them out. I mean, I was on leave, but I jumped on Twitter and had a quick scroll through to see the fires happening, and some of his memes just had me going. I'll wrap up this article looking at the history of publicly disclosed critical vulnerabilities affecting Maven packages and the fact less than 48% of these packages had a fix applied for these. Google researchers predict a long wait, likely years, before Log4j flaws are completely eliminated from all Java packages. So what do you guys think about that? It's a pretty interesting. My sound effect has come back. That's okay. We can all laugh at Log4j. It's kind of crazy. It's unbelievable. I mean, it literally happened on I think it was like Friday night when it came out. I don't know. I was kind of busy, and then the internet lit up. Things were going nuts. Twitter was alight with memes and updates and all sorts of stuff, and it was just insane. So what do you guys think about Log4j? I'd like to see it in the chat. Tell me what you think, because it was crazy. I mean, it's still going crazy, and there's just more releases each week by the sounds of it, for updates to basically the vulnerability. So crazy stuff, crazy stuff. We're going to get onto the next section of this live stream, the last one before the Q&A section, which I'll get to a little bit later, and that is life lessons. Oh yes, life lessons. All right, I hope you guys are enjoying these transitions because this is super fun. I had a lot of fun putting these together. I'm going to sit up a little bit for this one because I put the text down the bottom for some reason. Anyway, life lessons. Today I'm going to talk about basically how to present yourself in an interview, because I think that's a pretty important life lesson to take home. One for the, one that you can write down that is maybe going to help you. So basically, there's a couple of tricks that I learned a very long time ago, which I think I actually saw in a movie, and then I Googled later to see if it was legit, and it seemed to actually be something that worked. So the first thing is that you've probably heard before, and that is to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So if, for example, you're coming from no job and you're going to a job for a security analyst or a help desk person or anything, have a look at what people wear to those jobs, and wear something nice and slightly nicer than what you would normally wear in that day-to-day job. It might sound super obvious, but it's pretty important, and it will definitely help you out. So yeah, I mean, just basically dress up properly for the jobs that you actually want to apply for. The next tip for life lessons on applying for jobs is to actually, before you go to a job interview, and if you can choose a time, choose it for the afternoon, because people are slightly off their guard more in the afternoon than they are in the morning. People are alert. They're wide up on coffee. In the afternoon, everyone's chilled out. And if you can come in, sort of alert and awake, that shows. And it's easy to compare it to someone who's tired, which most people are in the afternoon. The next tip is to eat something good for lunch. Don't skip lunch before you go to an interview. I know these things sound ridiculous, but trust me, they work. And obviously, bring your resume with you when you apply for a job. Don't have chewing gum in your damn mouth when you're in the freaking interview. I've seen it happen thousands of times, and it's the most annoying thing to be talking to someone and they're chewing away, and you're just like, can you maybe just stop? But you're not going to say that to the person who's applying for a job. You're just going to flick them off the list of potential employees. And I know these are very like nitpick things, but I mean, the less you annoy your potential employer, the more likely you are to actually get that job. So absolutely worthwhile. And the last thing is to, when you answer a question, if you don't know the answer, it's perfectly fine, because no one knows the answer to everything. So basically just present yourself in a way that you think is acceptable. And if they ask you a question that's, maybe you just don't know the answer to, just say, I don't know the answer to that, but I'd be happy to learn about it. The sort of red flags that come up is when people ask you a lot of questions and you realize you don't know the answer to any of them, then potentially that's not the job for you. Maybe there's something else you could be doing, or you could have done a little bit more research into that position before actually applying for that job. So yeah, that's basically my advice for you. Those are my life lessons in this one. It's nice and quick. I haven't put a huge list together. I am absolutely sweating because it's super hot and I'm wearing a hoodie, but I wanted to wear the merch because, I mean, it's my favorite merch that I have. So, yeah, they're my life lessons. Let's get onto the final section of this live stream. Probably the thing that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, and that is the power round question. Power round. Wow, so a really deep car just went past and totally distracted me. How many people we got in here, by the way? Is there a few people watching this stream? Oh, 25, cool. Welcome to all 25 of you. If you're new here, please do subscribe. If you're enjoying yourself, click that like button. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, let's get on to the questions. I knew the stream would be a little bit quieter because of the whole Christmas break thing, but let's get on to it. The first question is from Moe29, and the question is, I was having trouble deciding between a cybersecurity degree or a cybersecurity/criminology degree at Deakin. Deakin, my favorite university, just heads up. Does having a double degree increase chance of employer? Yeah, not really, no. So it depends what, I mean, you said you're studying for cybersecurity cybersecurity criminology. I guess what it does help you with is it broadens your application potential. So what you can do is just apply for more different kinds of jobs instead of just going for one, just one job. So if you were doing, like, for example, a cybersecurity degree, a lot of people apply for either pen tester or security analyst. With this one, you can also get into the investigation side of things, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's sort of my answer to that question. Before I get onto the next question, I'm going to put some music on because I kind of like answering questions with music in the background. So bear with me 1 second. Caspar, thank you for your lovely comment about my wife. I appreciate it, and I'm sure she does as well. Let's have a look at some popular music. Let's grab this. I don't know how loud that is, but I hope it's loud enough that you can actually hear the music. There we go. Oh, so much better. All right. Oh, that might actually be too loud. I'll turn it down slightly. All right, here we go. All right, next question is from Lalith Kumar, and the question is, I have ECPPT, EWPT, EJPT, PNPT, and I'm thinking to take CEH. No, don't do it. CEH practical, forget it. Sec plus, maybe. Pentest plus, maybe. And stop taking certs and focus on skill. Do you think these certs are enough for me to get a job? Which country are you in? Because, I mean, honestly, man, that's a lot of certification to have for an entry-level job. I can see the music bars here are slightly higher than my voice, so I'm going to turn that down. I'm going to guess from your name you're somewhere in Southeast Asia, possibly India or Pakistan or somewhere like that. That is a lot of certs. I'm also curious what sort of formal education you have, if you have like a degree or like a trade school or an internship experience, something like that, because that would be very beneficial for you if you don't already have one of those. I would skip out the CEHs. I'd probably skip out the Security Plus and possibly the Pen Test Plus. I'd either go as a next cert, I would just do either OSCP or the CYSA Plus, depending on which one you're going to go for. I can see a comment here from David T saying, may I ask why you dislike the CEH? It's just not, like, the jobs that require a CEH on there, like when they ask for it on the job advertisement, which is dropping significantly, are the ones who have copy pasted from another job elsewhere. It's not a great certification, really, to be completely honest. It's the content that's in there is very much copy paste from what I've seen from other certifications that cost less or have a better, I guess, reach for employability. So yeah, that's basically, I mean, my answer on that one. So yeah, anyway, next question is from Sabby M. The question is, hi DC. Hello, Sabby. I'm working as a help desk engineer in Melbourne in multinational. Cool. Do you think CompTIA Security Plus will help me get into cyber analyst or SOC? I'm a temporary resident at the moment. Congratulations on getting temporary residency. I know how ridiculous that process is and how extremely expensive and unfair it is. So congratulations for that. As far as the certifications, I probably wouldn't go with the Security Plus. I would go for the CYSA Plus, especially because you already have experience in IT. And I know it's help desk engineer, which is still, that's very good. You just need to focus more on those blue team certifications. So the Security Plus wouldn't actually be too bad. I just think that the CYSA Plus is better aligned, and it's often asked for, especially in Melbourne. It's definitely asked as one of the certifications that's basically a requirement for SOC analysts these days. So yeah, I would be having a look at the this CompTIA CYSA Plus. I'll just go back to that question about the CEH as well, because I'm getting a lot of stuff in the chat here. Calpo Pereira says, what about CEH Practical? That one's not too bad, but it still has the bad name of CEH on it, and at the moment it's just not got a great name in many countries. I just wouldn't bother with that, to be completely honest. But that's just my opinion. I mean, do your own research, have a look at what you think about it, and if you like it, then absolutely go and grab it. Next question is from Godzilla88. Good number. Question: what else is out there after mastering offense and defense in security other than management, executive positions? Would it be best to be like a consultant? Yeah, I mean, that is that is something you can do. Consultancy, you could also do contracting. So with contract, or I mean, is that what you mean as consultant? Basically, what you can do as a contractor is essentially go to different, usually larger businesses like NTT or like your Data3s or InfoSec or Infosys, sorry. Those ones that have government contracts. And you can go as a contractor and earn roughly 2 to 3 times more than you would as a full-time employee. So that's one route. Most people do move into management though, or they transition into a different area of IT completely. Not everyone who's in security wants to stay in security. I mean, a lot of people are trying to get in from other areas of IT into security because of the money rush. But I mean, that's it's definitely an option to move into management if you want. The next question is from Muhammad Asif Ansari. His question is, what should I do after the CCNA? It really honestly depends on what job you want. So if you want to become a network engineer, your CCNA is probably going to get you entry level. If not, and you want to keep going down the networking route, the CCNP is a great certification to get. What you should do after getting any certification though is trying to apply for a job, because that's the whole point of getting certified, right? Is so that you can get a job. So I don't want to just recommend getting a whole bunch of certifications, because while I mean it's super fun and expensive to collect certifications, what I would probably be doing is trying to find a job so you can get some experience under your belt and potentially apply to some internships or trade schools or online trade schools, all those sort of things. Now is probably a good time to talk about the Safer Internet project. I'm going to cut my screen over. The Safer Internet project is essentially a business. It's also the sponsor and of this video and every live stream forever, which is it's a project built where people can go to it, learn from different learning modules that exist that myself and Gareth, who is literally in the other room behind me, and it's in place to give you hands-on experience. So every week or sometimes every fortnight we do a real pen test where you guys would be able to jump on and watch exactly what is being done and ask questions along the way to essentially understand exactly what's happening and get your own understanding of it by watching it happen in real time. Apart from that, there are learning modules thrown into this whole program which teach you the basics of different security practices, not just pen testing, but also 365 compliance, and some blue team modules that are being created, as well as report writing and all that sort of great stuff that you kind of need to know when you're jumping into cybersecurity. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, the saferinternet.com. Thank you, Ned, for throwing that in the chat. I appreciate it. Jerry says, so a beginner can join in and not feel left out and confused? Absolutely. It's made for people to go from beginner all the way to professional. and it's experience you can actually put on your resume, which in this world of people lacking experience to get into different IT jobs, especially in cybersecurity, it's a great service, that's the whole sort of point of it, is to help you get into a job. Towards the end of the 6-month membership, I also help people to talk to a recruiter and essentially get you in front of a recruiter or a hiring manager of a business nearby you to get you into a job, because that's the whole point of learning anything in cybersecurity, right? Is to get into a job. So that's what it's all about. Next question is from Gamba, and the question is, would taking a learning pathway made for cybersecurity analysts be suitable for someone wanting to get into dealing with cybercrime and digital forensics? I don't know if Gaz is busy, but this would be a good question for him. But if he wants to jump in, I'll let him. Would taking a learning pathway made for cybersecurity analysts be suitable for someone wanting to get into dealing with cybercrime and digital forensics? Gaz, welcome. Come on in.
How you going?
Good. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that a learning pathway made for cybersecurity analysts would be suitable for someone wanting to get into dealing with cybercrime and digital forensics?
That's a pretty good one. So cybersecurity analysts, you can come back into DFIR. You can fit digital forensics and incident response with cybersecurity like analyst roles. I know quite a few people who have actually gone from being a security operations analyst and into digital forensics and even cybercrime with the local police as well. So depending on what the learning pathway would be, it would definitely be mainly focused around something like autopsy. There has been a free module out for autopsy for it's like an 8-hour free course that'll help with your digital forensics incident response stuff. And then there's some pathways about cybersecurity threat feeds and understanding threat intel, which will help you with the cybercrime stuff. Of course, there's like the basics of the Sec Plus, the Net Plus that you kind of need first off to get into the analyst role, and then you can dive off through that way. So definitely would also recommend learning a lot of volatility as well, and of course sprucing up from a lot of your report writing skills would definitely have to be pretty high level. For people who didn't know that in Australia we have a lot of the digital forensics and cybercrime stuff. Anything crime related, you have to do a almost like a chain of custody, and that chain of custody has very specific and very unique ways of dealing with information or evidence from crimes. So reporting skills, volatility, learning stuff like Cybrary or some other modules on cyber threat intel feeds, and then going into the autopsy stuff as well would help out.
Nice. Okay, so that's a pretty good answer. I hope that answers your question, Gamba. That is pretty intense answer. I'm going to get on to the next question. It's from it's Hamid or it's shame or it's shamed. I don't know. Either one of those. There's gonna be a question here. I have a project for my university. I want to make a firewall penetration testing using certain tools, and I want to make that with Python script that gets all the tools, and every output of a tool is the input of the next tool. Can anyone help me with that? What I would probably do, and this is going to be my quick answer for this one, is to grab a bunch of tools that already exist, and before everyone screams out skid, everyone does it, so don't feel bad about that. Basically grab a bunch of tools that already pre-exist and string them together. That would be my answer to you. I don't know if you have a different answer.
really you'd be working a lot with bash scripting, I would imagine. Anything to do with putting in a command, getting an output from that command into another command and sequencing a chain of that. Something like bash scripting will help quite a bit.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, you can do that with Python as well. But to be honest, it's actually much easier with bash. And there's probably more resources out there on exactly how to do that, especially if you're stringing together different languages. So that would definitely be helpful. Grim Jim, welcome back to the stream. It's good to see you here again. And you're basically always in Discord, which is great. So good to see you. Question is, hi DC, I've been accepted into a program for people over 30 who want to transition into a career in IT. Congratulations. As part of the program, I will obtain A+, Net+, and Sec+ certs, plus get a paid internship. Epic.
Nice.
Outside of obtaining these certs, is there anything I could do to better prepare myself for working in a help desk role? Those certs really do cover it all, and more. They sort of go over everything, everything from your basics in computers and hardware, networking fundamentals, and then security. So, and then you have a paid internship out of that, which is epic. What I would be trying to do is take your paid internship into an actual job later on. So if they, sometimes with these paid internships, what they actually offer after the internship is a full-time role in that company, which would be pretty awesome. I wouldn't bother with getting any other certs. Otherwise, you're pretty much just grabbing certs for the hell of it. You're going to get all you need out of those certs already. Anything you could do to better prepare yourself for working in a help desk role? Maybe run up your own help desk at home, just for fun, and see how it works. A free version of that, there's a program called Freshdesk. You can set it up for free. All you need to do is set up the emails to it. And if you were to create, just send it out to all of your family and friends for their basic IT needs. And say, if you have any questions for IT, please just submit them to this email. Make it like support@mywebsite.com, whatever your domain name is. And you'll start receiving help desk tickets. And the good thing about Freshdesk is that it has free integrations that essentially help you prioritize tickets in the way that it's explained in the ITIL framework. So it's a good system for learning exactly how that works without any cost. And the good thing about that as well is that you might actually be able to bill some of your friends or family if you want. I mean, that's entirely up to you. But yeah, I would probably give that a crack, to be honest. I think that's a good way to go about learning some extra stuff in help desk. Do you have any additions to that one as well?
Yeah, I do. So I've actually known a couple of people who've gone through similar internships. Like Dave was saying, don't focus too much on certs. Focus more on the job itself and anything that you can improve. So similar to what Dave was saying in trying to turn that into an actual permanent position, a fantastic way to do that is to leave what's called your legacy. And a way to do that would find or have a look at the whole setup. If something looks like that it could be better, or it could be tuned better, or a new automation can be put in or anything like that, do it. Add it in as like a thing that you want to achieve, that sort of thing, and blow the expectations out of the water, make them want you to stay for a longer period of time, essentially. But other than that, you've pretty much got all the certs anyway, so.
Yeah, for sure. Before we go on to the next question, I'm going to do another merch thing just because I want to hear the audio. If you guys want some DC CyberSec merch and you want to get sexy and just sound and look like that sound that plays, you just have to click the button below this video to buy some epic merch, and you get sweet saxophone vibes. All right. On to the next question. It's from Comprofix. The question is, been looking at cybersecurity courses. Do you think starting out with a certificate 4 in cybersecurity is a good starting point? I have a background in IT/sysadmin for many years. I think that would be honestly a shot in the wrong direction, to be completely honest. So the thing with cybersecurity is that it's an experience-based industry, and the fact that you have sysadmin experience kind of leads me towards the maybe just focus on certifications and gaining experience. I've already mentioned the Safer Internet project, but I'm going to do it again anyway. The Safer Internet project is a program that's designed to give you experience in cybersecurity, hands-on, real-life client experience. I almost lost my voice there. Now, the Safer I'm gonna turn that off. Give me a sec. All right, there we go. So yeah, the Safer Internet is one option. The other option is also to get some certifications, which would definitely help out. If you want to get into Blue Team, the CompTIA CYSA Plus is a great starting point to sort of transition in from sysadmin work. If you want to become a pen tester, the OSCP is still top of the list. So yeah, I mean, those are the two sort of main directions people go is, you know, blue team, red team, pen tester, analyst, you know, whatever you want to call it. That's basically the way to go about it. But if you want the hands-on experience route, then the Safer Internet project is designed exactly for that. So hit it up, saferinternetproject.com. Ned, if you can chuck that in the chat, it would be greatly appreciated. On to the next question. Here it is. It's from SayBM. I've seen you in here before. Welcome back. Question is, any views on practice labs for preparing CompTIA Sec Plus? That it actually comes with labs, so I'm confused why you're sort of asking for those labs. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I just saw a message on that last question as well about the TAFE thing. Job said, I don't know what state you're in, but in New South Wales, Cert 4 is free for most people, so you can't really go wrong. That's interesting. It's not free in Queensland. With Queensland TAFE, from the last person I spoke to about it, it was actually kind of expensive. So yeah, I mean, that's a good reason to jump state for a bit and study the cert. Or maybe just apply for their online program and do it that way. That could be kind of fun as well. But I mean, that's up to you. So yeah, anyway, back to the practice labs for preparing for CompTIA Sec Plus. There is some stuff on Udemy, which is quite useful if you want to have a look at, oh God, what's his name? What's some names on Udemy?
Not
David Bombal. David Bombal is all like networking stuff. He does some security stuff, but I haven't looked at his CompTIA stuff, if he even has any. The ones I would be looking at is, oh man, his names escape me. But just have a look on Udemy at the top rated courses for CompTIA Sec Plus. That would be Jason Dion. That's the guy. Thank you, people of the chat, for saving me. Jason Dion has a really good thing on CompTIA. I've gone through it before and it's good. I actually did it after I did my Sec Plus just because I was interested, and it was on sale. It was like, I think it was like $20 or something. So I was like, hell yeah, why not? And it was pretty good. But with the CompTIA, you can actually purchase the labs as well. So if you want to do it through there, then yeah. Professor Messer content is free on YouTube. So apparently there's some stuff on YouTube from Professor Messer. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But yeah, I mean, that's a free resource is a good resource, so check it out. Next question is from Calpa Pereira. The second question for tonight from this person. Question is, completed a master's degree from CSU and was preparing for EJPT. Then I got the CEH practical scholarship. Oh, cool, okay. Should I go for EJPT first? Will it help for me to get a job in cybersecurity in Melbourne? The CEH, maybe not, but because you already got the scholarship, yeah, definitely do it. Should I go for EJPT first? Maybe. I mean, what job are you going for in Melbourne? I assume you're going for a pen test job because like certified ethical hacker, EJPT. I mean, yeah. To be honest, from the last few recruiters I've talked to in Melbourne, most of the chats I have in Melbourne are with Ricky Block, and the last time I spoke to him, he said the OSCP was the top certification for pen testers. So, I mean, if you want to do the EJBT as a lead up to OSCP, that usually makes sense. The CEH, no comment. But yeah, I mean, eventually you will get a job in Melbourne. It also depends a lot on your eligibility to work for governments, because a lot of the work in cybersecurity is with government agencies or government organizations. They require some sort of level of clearance. So if you're unable to get clearance, then you have a far lower chance of getting a job in cybersecurity. So I have no idea about your background or where you're from or anything, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning that anyway.
I'm curious to see what the master's degree is in as well.
Yeah, I mean the master's degree at CSU. I think he said it was before. He said it was in cybersecurity.
Ah, okay. Alright, cool.
So yeah, I mean,
Definitely do the EJBT first if you can, and then do because it's a scholarship, right? You've already won it. You might as well use it. But definitely still do the EJBT, like regardless, and then step up to OSCP if that's what you're trying to like go for.
Sweet. Yeah, let's get the next question up on the screen. There's a lot of great chat here about Professor Messer and his Spotify podcast. I haven't listened to them either. I don't even listen to myself, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, go and check it out. Free content is good content, and I mean, all you're spending is your time, which is as valuable as you make it. The next question is from Captain Crunch version 1. And the question is, when attempting bug bounties, I often find things that I'm unsure if they're issues or not. What do I do when I don't know if it's an issue or not? Probably submit it anyway, to be honest. If you have a decent enough report template to submit, then a good report template will be looked at, even if the issue is a duplicate or not actually an issue or just information. Usually what you're looking for is something that you can relate to a CVE when you're doing bug bounties in cybersecurity. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you can match it up to a CVE, whatever issue you found, then you've got something to actually report on. So yeah. Next question is from David T. Again, I think you asked, or maybe I just read your question before. What mechanical keyboard are you rocking at the moment? Thank you for asking. This is a perfect time to use my new camera I just got today. I'm using, I'll just get this in the shot because, I mean, who doesn't want to get lubed? This keyboard is a SK64S with a lot of modifications. So it's got Bulba 68 gram U4T switches. There's a lot of padding, which is basically a mouse pad in between. So under all of this stuff, it's just empty space, and it echoes when you tap the keyboard, which sounds horrible. So I put all this padding underneath it. I filmed and lubed every single key on this bad boy. The keys are cream somethings, and I've got this little Gengar keycap, which I thought was kind of cute. So I got him as well. It matches the purple, and I never use that key either, so it kind of works for me. I bring this thing everywhere. I take it to work with me every single day, and annoy all my colleagues, and it suits me to a T. I absolutely love this keyboard. So yeah, that's my keyboard. Let's go back to here. That cam actually turned out to be a bit of a crotch cam, I just realized. Sorry. Next question is from Stormhawks. The question is, recently I completed CompTIA Sec Plus certification. Please suggest me. What should I do next? Start applying for jobs, firstly, and keep learning. A good way to keep learning anything in cybersecurity is bug bounties, because it's free to do. All you got to do is spend time on it. Another option is, of course, the Safer Internet project, which I've now mentioned at least 3 times. So I'll start cutting back on mentioning that, because I don't want to drown you with Safer Internet project. But it's definitely worthwhile. So absolutely do that. Yeah, I mean, if you can just learn from content that exists on the internet at the moment, like CTFs, participate in CTF teams or events. Basically, I'm losing my voice now, so I'm going to end this real soon. Jumping on a CTF team and participating in CTFs regularly is going to keep you up to date with different types of vulnerabilities that you can inject into those CTFs to complete challenges. So that's always good. It's also going to help you with your bug bounties if that's something that you feel like doing. I mean, that could also be fun. So yeah, that's probably what I would be doing next. I'm going to get through another 5 questions, so I don't want to go through too many here. Oh, it's finished! How good is that? I hadn't actually read the text on screen. We've finished all of the questions. That's good. I just want to do this one more time because I really like this audio. So I'm just going to turn the music off, and let's go to this scene. Let's go to this one because it's kind of fun. Back to the crotch cam. And I'll just get this guy here. Hello, person from Poland. I just saw your message there. Welcome to the stream. Get lubed with dccybersec. I think the sticker is only like 10. I think it's like $6 or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea because Teespring sets all the prices. But this thing is the best sticker you will ever get. I mean, look how detailed it is. It's literally the inside of a keycap. It's huge. It looks... is that not the sickest damn thing you've ever seen? Anyway. Drum roll. We're at the end of the stream. Thanks for coming, everyone. It's been a pleasure, as always, having you here. Thanks for Gaz for popping in. I'll turn the mic back so everyone can actually hear you. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream. If you haven't smashed like yet, smash like now. I want to see these likes getting over 70. So I know there's a few of you in here at the moment. Smash like right now. Let's do it. Let's count down to 70 likes. If you guys enjoyed this stream, please jump on Discord and let me know in there, because I want to know if this sort of format is something that you're keen on, or if I should just go straight back to answering questions over and over and over again. Yeah, I mean, I make these videos for you guys, so let me know what you want to see, and that's exactly what I'll end up making. Cheers for coming along. Merry Christmas. I'll probably, what's the date of the next stream? The 26th, so it'll be Boxing Day. I'm actually away that day, so I won't be doing a live stream. I might just pop on my phone for a minute and say hi, but it won't be a full-length live stream like this one. But yeah, I do intend on making this a regular occurrence, so I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, and yeah, thanks for coming along.